This week we'll be coding a maze. First step is to download the maze background. So you're going to right click on your maze image. To right click, you're going to use 2 fingers on your key, your mouse pad, or you can right click if you have a regular mouse, hit save image as. Make sure you save it to your computer in your download section. Then we're going to put it into Scratch. So you're going to visit the Scratch website, scratch.mit.edu, or you can click on the link from the classwork page. You're going to open, make sure that you are logged in. So you can, if you don't see sign in here, you should see your name. You're going to hit the word create right next to the word Scratch. You'll be creating a new project. And the next thing that we have to do is we have to upload a backdrop. Okay, so in the bottom corner, you are looking for that little backdrop. You're going to hover over it, and the top one says upload backdrop. Look for your maze that you just saved in your downloads. Okay, if you're not sure, look on the left-hand side and look for downloads. Click on it, click on the picture, hit open. Okay, finally, you have a maze. Now, the way that your maze works is that your character, your sprite, your cat here, or whatever you choose, is going to move through and bounce off the walls anytime it touches the black part. But there's a little issue. There's no black part on the top, so he can scoot his way around here. So we don't want that to happen, all right? Make sure you are clicked on the stage or the backdrop, and we are going to add a little part on the top to make sure that the cat cannot go through there without being a cheater, okay? All right, so how do we do that? We're going to use the line tool, and we're going to draw a line around the top. We're going to need to make it a little thicker, so instead of 10, I'm going to make it 20 up at the top. Okay, next, I need the fill color to be the exact same color as the maze. In order to do that, I'm going to click on this little drop down arrow next to fill. And then on the bottom, there's a little medicine dropper. The medicine dropper will actually take the color from the maze that I choose. So notice if I pull over to the black, the outer circle turns black. You're going to click, and now you have the exact right color. Okay, now using your line tool, you're going to make a little box on top around that red arrow so that your sprite won't be able to bounce through the maze walls, okay? Or go around and cheat. Okay, so just make sort of a rectangle on the top to close it in. If you make a mistake, just hit Control Z, and that will undo it. Okay. All right, so now we have closed in our maze. We're going to go start coding. Next, I'm going to go to my sprite, the cat. My cat is very big, okay? Size, I need to make him a little smaller so he'll fit in the maze. So right down here, do you see this little size section? We are going to change his size to 20. He's going to be quite a bit smaller, and I'm going to move him up at the beginning of the maze. Just using my mouse, I'll drag him right up to the top where that red arrow is. Okay, now we don't want to be in his costumes anymore. We are going to go over to the code section. Okay. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I hit the wrong thing. See inside. I want to go right here to code. Okay. And we are going to get started with coding him. The first thing I want to do is make sure that he can move. Okay. So I'm going to be using my arrow keys to do that. In the yellow events section, I can find the second block down says when space key pressed. I'm going to change that to an arrow. Okay, I'm going to change it to right arrow. Now I know that you learned about coordinate grids. and that you know that when we have an x-axis and a y-axis, the x-axis goes right and left, and the y-axis goes left and right, okay? We're going to change x by 10 when we move to the right, okay? Now, if he hits that black section, I want him to bounce off. So the next thing that I need to do is find an event or a control section so that if he touches that color, he's going to bounce off. So in control, which is the orange, I'm going to find this block. If blank, then blank. Okay? If he touches the wall, I want him to bounce off. So I need a sensing block inside there. Sensing is the light blue. And we want to pull out this touching color one. It's the second one down. And we want the color from the maze. So where it says color of that light green color, once again, I'm going to grab that medicine dropper and go over and click that color, okay? So I'm going to add that on to my blocks. And if he's touching that black color, I want him to do the opposite of what he would normally do. So if this says change X by 10, I want him to do the opposite. I'm going to go back to motion. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to find change X by 10. And now I want him to be minus 10 instead of 10, okay? Now, to do the left arrow, we're going to duplicate that code, which means make a copy of it. So I'm going to right click on that top button, okay? Remember, you're going to click on the top button with 2 fingers instead of 1. Hit duplicate. All right, it's exactly the same code. All we have to do is change a little bit about it. Instead of doing right arrow, I'm going to change one of them to left arrow. Instead of going positive 10, I'm going to make him do negative 10, and I'm going to make him do the opposite on the bottom. Okay, so regular 10. All right. So now he should be able to move right and left, except you're not going to be able to see anything because he's inside this little box. So if you want to check, you can put him down a little bit and then just put him back to the beginning over here, okay? All right, once again, we want to do up arrow and down arrow because you can't move those ways yet. So once again, I'm going to duplicate the code, okay? I'm going to change one of them to up arrow. But we can't use X anymore because that'll move him right and left. Now we have to use change Y. So I'm going to pull out these change X's. And now we're going to look for change Y by 10. Make sure you don't have set Y. Make sure it says change Y. Change Y by 10. Change Y by 10. All right, if he's going up, I want him to have positive 10. And if he touches that black color, I want the opposite. So I'm going to make it minus 10 on the bottom. I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And we're going to change one to down arrow. And once again, we'll have the opposite. So at the top, minus 10. On the bottom, positive 10. Now he should be able to move all 4 directions in your maze, and he should bounce off. Now the problem is he doesn't have a starting point. So let's put your cat where you want him to start, and at the beginning of the game we always want him to begin there. So we're going to hit events, and when the green flag is clicked, we want our little cat to show. We don't want him to hide, so we're going to pull a purple block, looks, show, and we want him to go to the exact spot where I just put him. So in motion, you're going to look for go to X and Y. Your numbers might be a little bit different than mine, and that's okay as long as you put them in the correct spot. If you pull out that block, he should stay there. Okay? All right. That is it for our first lesson. And in the second lesson, I will show you how to show that he has won the game.